Hello. Today I want to talk about artists being pigeonholed. And when I say pigeonholed, I mean pretty much someone becoming known for one thing. And to start off, I think that's a great position to be in because when you are known for something, I mean, that's kind of just good in and of itself. Because I feel like many people who are not pigeonholed, they're not known at all. So I think there's like a bit of weight to being known for something because when you are, people go to you for that specific thing. And I feel like to a certain extent, if you were a person who has been doing something specific for a long time, that's something that you probably may want to do. And just because you are good at, say, doing art for one type of thing, doesn't mean you can't add other things to that thing. Granted, it should always relate to the thing that you're wanting to do. Like, say for myself that I draw a lot of bugs, right? If I eventually become an artist being known for drawing and painting bugs, which I would like to be known, there are other things that I would like to draw besides just bugs. The environments that they live in. But I guess a lot of the fear arises out of people thinking that this will be the only thing that they will ever be allowed to do their art on. And that's actually not true at all. And I know it's weird. Say you are doing art as a full-time career in any sense, well, there's a good chance people are going to be coming to you for that thing. And you can fit other things in with the thing that you're known for. But I would always make that clear to the people who are interested in your art that you would say you would also want to make the environment that, say, a bug is in. Or if you do landscapes, if you wanted to draw people, say, hey, is it okay if I also be a little bit experimental? Because I think at the end of the day, I feel like if someone's interested in you as the artist, they would always, not all the time, but most of the time, they would be okay with you doing something a little experimental. But I guess you do have to be aware of not going too far off from what you're known for. So, say you're known for, well, okay, cars. Let's say I wanted to one day draw cars. And the thing about that is, how does that kind of relate to insects and the environment that they live in? Well, to a big extent, it doesn't, but it can. So there are two instances in which I've seen bugs on cars. So one instance, I was at a car show, and I noticed that particularly white cars, white cars, yellow cars, red cars, and I want to say green cars as well, orange as well. They were like covered in bugs. And I was really intrigued by this. And I feel really stupid now for not taking a picture of them. I feel like next year when there is another car show, I will definitely take some photos. Because that is one way to relate it, considering how most of the things that we draw are all related. Like, we all live in the same world. And unless you're doing something that is abstract or yeah, unless you're doing something that's abstract for the most part, I feel like everything can be related in one way or another. The other instance that I was thinking of is like bugs stuck to a windshield. I know that sounds a bit gruesome. Because, bugs fly and sometimes they end up getting caught and smacked by various windows of cars or windshields. That is another way to relate bugs with cars. So, I mean, I would say really, I mean, granted, maybe there's a chance that I may never even want to draw that. Like, say you're an artist and you want to just draw cars. If you are doing it for a full-time career and you have a certain audience, they're probably not going to be interested in you drawing something totally unrelated to what you're known for. So I think that is incredibly important to keep in mind. But that doesn't mean if at the end of the day you want to draw cars, like cars just by itself, you can do that. But you do have to keep in the back of your mind that people may not be so interested in it because it's not what you're known for. And you have to think that when you have gained an audience of any degree, you eventually gain a level of credibility in the thing that you draw. I mean, granted, I know when you draw one thing, you could apply different methods and techniques to draw something else, but I think it is important to keep in mind that people are going to be coming to you for what you are known for. So the other thing is, besides it being great, perhaps if your true passion is to draw cars and not bugs, I'm just saying this as an example. I hate drawing cars. I know that kind of sounds weird. I just haven't been a big fan. I do like some of the gestural drawn cars. Going on a tangent, so I'm going to stop. But I'm just saying, if you wanted to be known for that, I would say you can become known for that, but I guess you could say it can be difficult to transition from what you've been doing. But say I draw tasteful bugs, and perhaps I wanted to draw bugs that don't exist. That could also be a dangerous path. I'm sorry, I slurred my word. It can be dangerous to do that because of how experimental it could be, or it could be incredibly groundbreaking because, you know, you have things like realism that was, you know, the status quo for years in the art world, and eventually you had surrealism. I mean, I know both existed at the same time, or you could say there was probably surrealist artists back then in one form or another. But the point I'm trying to say is what you become known for kind of gets a bit sticky to you. Whenever I think of art or artist, what comes to my mind is Dr. Seuss. So a little interesting thing about Dr. Seuss is that he did a lot of like World War II comics, some propaganda comics, some comics that had serious issues because of stereotypes. But he did a lot of those types of comics. I believe it was probably, I don't know if it was for like a newspaper or something, probably. And the thing that's interesting about that is that most people who know him nowadays, they know him for his children's books. And it's incredibly amazing how someone who had their own style went from making informational comics in his own way into transitioning to children's books. And it's actually even more interesting because I want to say Dr. Seuss made fake taxidermies of imaginative animals he had in mind, which inspired a lot of his drawings and whatnot. So he went to children's drawings. But I don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I watched a documentary a few years ago that talked about how he did a series of paintings called his Midnight Sketches. And his Midnight Sketches, they all had to deal with much deeper themes that Dr. Seuss didn't want the world to see at the time. And there's a book on it. You can find it online. I believe it's just called the Midnight Sketches, or the Midnight Paintings. I want to say that they travel as an exhibition. Like, there's a chance you could see them in person. But I would say, like, obviously there's a lot of benefits to seeing certain things in person. But if you want to read about it and kind of get a deeper in depth of it, there's a book that I would definitely recommend reading and getting. And it goes over a lot of his midnight paintings. And I would say do both if you can see it in person. I haven't been in a position to see them in person, but maybe one day. saying that for years. Okay, so back to the topic. So Dr. Seuss, for his day job, wrote children's books, drew. I'm not sure if he did the writing, but he probably did. I could be wrong on that, but he did. He definitely did the art for them. So he had his stuff that he liked to do for a career during the day, and then when he had free time at night, he focused on the other aspect. So he did both. He kind of understood that maybe his true art that he wanted to make would not be understood, and maybe he couldn't do, maybe he didn't want to do that full time. It's really hard to predict, but I'm not saying everything you have to do for art's sake has to be for pure career purposes or profit purposes. I think every artist should have art that they make for the sake of art. I mean, most people would actually say all the art you should do is for the sake of art. And even better is if you could do art for the sake of art and support yourself on a career, but that is not always possible for everyone, considering finances and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to say is you could always gain the skills to do the art that you may not be able to do now. So think of pigeonholing as a way to help you either make the art that you actually want to make, or let it be a way to guide you to make the art that you want to make. So I hope that kind of helps out a little bit. My idea of making this video was kind of talking about my own worries. I gotta be honest with you, I just want to be good enough. Not good enough, but I mean I want to be able to make really high quality drawings, shadings, and eventually one day oil paint, I believe. And I guess you could say sometimes I think about being pigeonholed in the back of my mind, but I don't know why it pops into my mind. I guess you could say it has to do with the satirical ideas that I've had, but I've always worried about the perception of them. I feel like sometimes on YouTube, a lot of people do not want to alienate their audiences in any way. And I guess you could say that it's very hard to avoid any type of controversy. I mean, more like if you are ever trying to make a point or talk about something in modern day society, I think anyone should do it boldly. And I probably will share it in the future. And perhaps alienation, I don't mean to say it being a good thing, but I mean, like, I feel like art, like, if you try to please everyone, you're going to please no one, and I don't think the purpose of art should be trying to please everyone. So that is something that I definitely do think about in the back of my mind. I guess maybe I was thinking of it more because of a certain family that I was talking to, in which I was happy to hear that they said that they thought I was good enough to start trying to sell it in one way or another, which is something I didn't really think about all that much. But I have to say I'm not happy with the quality that I'm at currently. I want it to be of higher quality, and I could understand that I need a lot more practice. And the last thing I would want to be is pigeonholed making something I'm not truly proud of giving to the world. Like, I want to make stuff of, something good, I guess you could say. So I hope this video kind of helps kind of get in your mind that pigeonholing can be a good thing, and perhaps it could even be a way for you to do stuff that you truly want to do. But, not everyone wants to make a career out of art, or maybe they just want to do it for the sake of art, or perhaps they want it completely separated from any profit-driven motive. And that's okay too. I think everyone needs to decide their own path for themselves. But I think there is something to be said about consistency. I mean, perhaps it's more of a way to express yourself. Because, there could be certain ways to express yourself through art that you may not be able to express yourself through in life, if that makes sense. Like, as it being a catalyst in a way. If that makes sense. Oh well, I've rambled on way too long. So I hope this helps you. I hope this video helps you relax in a way and kind of makes you think about just doing art. I hope. If you like the video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And if you have a question, please ask in the comments. Thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. Bye.